Hello and welcome to an update of the Titans. If you recall, 2 weeks ago, I transferred my African night crawlers into this 10-gallon bin from a 3-gallon bin, and they seem to have settled in nicely. They've got plenty of bedding. They're looking good. Now, I did notice that the only guys that really have size on them were the original 5 that I put in the adults. Everyone else seems to be a bit on the smaller side. Now, I'm hoping by transferring them into a larger bin that they will get at least a little bit of size on them. That remains to be seen, but they're pretty much spread out. They seem to be active and happy, and the material is nice and moist. So this is where I fed some leaves to them. They don't like to be disturbed, so I'm going to try to disturb them as little as possible. Of course, there are no leaves left. Okay, so pretty much we can pick any spot we want and feed. We can do it in this corner right here, which is what I'm going to do right now. I got a nice big bag of food here. Let's see, what should they get? Friends of ours got us some, I think it's called dragon fruit. Never used it before. I don't know if any of you guys have. Looks like this once it's peeled. It looks like an alien when you buy it. But let's see if they like it. I'm trying to get a mostly moist stuff. I didn't care for the fruit much, to tell you the truth. It was a little bit bland, but maybe they will like it. So I'll just give it to them. And there's a napkin in there. Everything goes. I think that should be good. Now we'll give them a little bit of eggshell. I'm not adding bedding just yet because there's certainly plenty of bedding, but these guys do like their carbon source. They really like it. So these guys are fed up. They're fed up with me, right? They're fed. So let's go over to our European nightcrawler bin. Okay, so here is the European nightcrawler bin. And here, I've added some nice large worms from my outdoor garden bed. So these guys are really large, and I'm going to keep an eye on their size and make sure that they stay that way. Now, what happens to their offspring is another thing, but these guys are quite healthy. And I think I said that there was 24 of them in here, something like that. And the leaves that we fed them, yeah, They're gone. Yeah. Do not like to be disturbed. I'm so sorry. Look at these guys. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Not going to bother them too much. Just wanted to make sure they're looking okay. I'm going to feed them. What do I have here? What do I have here? Okay. So, some beet tops, I think. Okay. Whew, now that is stinky. Yes, it is. Let's bury that real fast. Once you bury the material, it does not smell at all. But when you uncover it, oh yeah, it does. Seem to have some, you see? They do not like to be disturbed. I am really sorry for that, guys. Super duper sorry. As you were. Okay, so we'll cover these guys up, and I want to show you the bin that I want to start harvesting. Okay guys, so this is my 10-gallon bin, and I have here European night crawlers that I used in the previous experiment, and this bin is ready for harvesting. So I am going to start doing the horizontal migration, which is what I like to do for worms that stay in the bin. I'm removing the castings and leaving the worms. So I put the material to one side of the bin. And then I'm going to feed on one side and let the worms migrate, leaving me with fairly worm-free castings. And that's all I have to do here. And you can see the consistency of the castings. They're very nice, they're flaky. So these plastic bins, I know I've said it over and over again, but these plastic bins have always been my favorite. Very easy to control the moisture, always consistent, flaky castings. No issues. So let's see. I'm going to give them some food on that side to entice them. I always like to give them fruit because of the high sugar content. The microbial activity starts building up quickly. Of course, it would be at the bottom of this stinky bag, or I have to dig for it. Come on. There we go. Oh well. Should be good. So, I will put this food here. It's going to entice them. Put a little bit of grit sauce. Some people ask, how often should I add a grit sauce? I have plenty of eggshell, so I add it basically at every feeding, but you don't have to. Just make sure that you add it Occasionally, this is good for calcium, as well as, you know, having the worms be able to use it for grit. And I'm just going to cover this up with moist bedding. Now, if I was giving a really large wet feeding, then I would probably use drier bedding. But because I want the worms to migrate quickly, I'm not going to put down dry bedding, because it's going to take time for the bedding to get wet enough for them to want to come and be in that area. They will not move into a dry area. So I'm going to make it enticing for them and put nice moist bedding. And then all I do is I push the material so there are no gaps, so they can comfortably move in. And that is it. So I'm going to keep an eye on this and see how quickly these guys migrate, so that I can go ahead and remove the castings. So that's our update. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.